avoid the projectiles, you may get lucky to get a health item from him. Thankfully, at this point, he doesn't have too much health left, but it's going to take a lot of shots, and it's best to be as cautious as possible while dealing with this. Once he's now been defeated, we've completed Corridor 18. We only have 2 more optional corridors and 2 more main corridors before we can go to Corridor 21 and complete the game. Our goal now is to head through this maze and head towards Corridor number 8. We have to journey a little bit through this area, but thankfully for the most part we're going to be avoiding almost all the enemies and just trying to get by as quickly as possible. If you need some health though, you can stop by and actually fight a few of the enemies, but it's best to just wait for a little while before we're actually able to get any. To open up Corridor number 8, switch your weapon to no use, and use that in order to open up the entrance and then switch back to your sword before heading inside. You can see this corridor is filled with a lot more of those blue vein-like structures that are going throughout it. And you start off with a lot of those circling meteorites, which can be a pain, but thankfully by now you've probably gotten pretty good at moving around them. Oh, if you came into this corridor with low health like I did, try to keep to the bottom or left or right, trying your best to avoid all the projectiles, and keep your sword out for most of it, and try to grab up as many of the health items that get dropped as possible. If you are lucky, you should be able to get at least 1 full health recovery during this part of the level. The boss of this area is another one of those big, weird eyeball-like monsters that we just fought in the previous one. This battle, though, I will do a little bit different of an approach, as I will use the double blades coming out of the left and right side and move along with him, which will help me a little bit in terms of being able to destroy some more of the projectiles, but overall this takes a lot more patience, and you have to be really precise when moving around them in order to actually do damage to them without taking too much yourself. he's finally taken care of, we can breathe a sigh of relief, as we have taken care of both of those monsters now. We only have to deal with one more of those types throughout the rest of the game. Back in the main area of Naiju, we are now going to head to the final area that's different from the other ones. Inside here, you have a save room, followed by another teleport which takes you to a yellow-like area. Be sure to grab the extra blue lanyard from this area to increase our health one more time before heading up here into the teleport to go into the next corridor. This is corridor number 19, and we're going to stop by here first before going into any of the other teleports. This corridor, as you can see, is very similar in terms of its background as the level itself that we were in. And get used to this background because this is the last one we're going to see for the rest of the game. We have a lot of skull-like enemies that will appear, and when they turn into their actual skull-like color, that's when they're going to come towards you. So just use either your sword blade or your normal shot to take care of them. During this area, it's going to get really hectic, so I like to switch over to the double blades on the left, right, and side of the ship, because that'll help me destroy a lot of the extra robots and projectiles that are coming at me a little bit easier than just the straight sword. These giant skulls are pretty easy to deal with at first, and they're going to get a little bit tougher as we go through. However, they seemingly do like to drop a lot of health items, so that's a good thing. Before I make it though to the actual boss, I will switch over to the actual short sword again because that'll work really well on this one. As soon as he appears, I'm going to be using my shots as well as my blade to get up close to him in order to actually hit him and stop any of his projectiles from actually being able to hit me. Compared to the last two bosses we had to deal with, this one is a ton easier and a welcome change. With Corridor 19 taken care of, and once it explodes, we'll grab our upgrade and then head to the North Teleporter. Even this late in the game, we still have a pretty easy mini-boss to take care of, as we have a replica of that mini-boss we first saw at the very, very beginning of the game. This one, of course,